Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
It's going to be fun.
It is. It's going to be exciting to go on this journey with you all. So before we start, can I just ask, why are we here?
I think we're here primarily because we've been at running Amazin Graze for 8 years. And it's been a wonderful journey, but at the same time, it's been incredibly difficult and challenging. And I think for a lot of our customers and even our future customers out there, it'd be just really nice to share the essence of Amazin Graze, who we stand for, the people that's running the company. Because I think all that is really an important component of what goes into our granola, our nut mixes, our healthy snacks. And I think it's just really important that the brand has an essence and has a soul.
What about you, Sabrina?
I just want to share my story. It has been a very amazing journey already, and I think it's time for us to share, especially to our customers and the people out there, what it's been like, and so that they can, grow together with us, go through the journey with us, understand how it was all formed, and be part of it.
And yes, it has been quite a journey. What was it, 2015?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Started off by baking at home and selling at flea markets.
I wouldn't call them flea markets. I think they're very nice markets. This was at a beautiful mall, actually, so it wasn't too fleeing. But it was a weekend market. It was one of those, weekend markets that people set up in malls back then, before COVID.
Right. And cut to today, offices in Malaysia, Singapore, presence in markets overseas, distributors from across the world looking for Amazin Graze to be in their countries. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the journey you've had so far?
Sabrina, you want to go first?
I don't know where to start. The journey has been, I've seen it personally from how we have started and to where we are today. I think we have put in a lot of effort, a lot of sweat and tears has gone into this. I personally have gone through together with Amy, and I think most importantly is with my team members, right? I wouldn't have been here today without the team members, without seeing them and even growing together with them in order to get to where we are today. For example, we've moved a couple of times, and every time we move, we learn from our previous experience, and we only get better from that. And I still remember the first time moving, we were like just carrying boxes up and down. There was no lift. It was just stairs, very narrow background, and everybody was like, "Why are we doing this?" And then I was like, "Guys, you know why? We can't grow in that small place anymore." And we are like inching ourselves, squeezing ourselves, working into like small place outside, that kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. So it's been overwhelming, right? It's overwhelming, but I think it's been very fulfilling. And sometimes I sit back and reflect, and I was like, although it's only been 8 years, but if you actually see where we were in 2015 to where we are today, is actually, for me, it's really impressive.
I think the reason why we started the company and the reason why we're still running Amazin Graze today and building the brand is vastly different. And I think that's a really interesting reflection for me and Sabrina as well, which is to say, when we started the business, we wanted to fill a gap in the market. We really love eating. We love Malaysian, Southeast Asian flavors, yet there's nobody in the market, and especially the big FMCGs, making natural, healthy, tasty food, utilizing local ingredients that the Asian population is proud of to make products that's suitable for them and their lifestyle. So that was a big need. And we started off feeling like that was the driving force. And it is today still very much a driving force of the company. I think as we have grown in the last few years, and I guess when Sabrina's mentioning the tears and the sweat and the difficulties, the reason for continuing to grow Amazin Graze has become slightly different. And I think one of them is team building. We really see that through Amazin Graze, as a local Asian brand, we've been able to escalate the brand positioning, the prestige, the quality of a Asian-made product, which is traditionally seen as fairly second grade, where we're seen as the OEM country, OEM continent of the world, and therefore seeing that movement catching on where not just our team, but our consumers are picking up our products, eating it, choosing our products over even the global brands is, I think, a very important driving force for why we're continuing to put in all these effort that we're putting today. So I think definitely the sense of building a movement, the sense of growing the Asian local brand. And then I think we can talk about this later, is a sense of like empowerment of young people, empowering women, especially since Amazin Graze is a women-led organization, is the continuous reason why we get up every day.
There's a lot to unpack with what you just said. But first, if I may, can I start with your why, right? Why this space? It seems like, when I think 8 years ago, it feels like this space was dominated by big names, big players. It feels like, but that's the impression. It may not be, right? So what made you double down on that and say, no, we're gonna do this. We're gonna build this brand in this space, going up against these names? Why? What was the conviction?
So it's more like, why not? Because yes, these big names, they've always been there. I grew up with them. But at some point, someone has to come in and disrupt the market. Someone will have to come in and say that I can do better. And when we come out with the product, for me, it is better in terms of taste-wise, in terms of texture, in terms of flavors. Like we said, we are very Asian, right? Like they have not come to that part or innovate to that part, and this is why we are here. We want to disrupt. So with the flavors itself, we are constantly reminding ourselves the flavors that we come up with, it has to be, number one, tasty. It has to be very nutritious.
Sure.
The flavor must be, if somehow, be very localized. Try to use as much local ingredients or local taste profile that we can. And especially in this region, everyone has a very strong taste profile. They really like their food flavorful. We want to provide that.
I actually also think we weren't thinking about let's go after the big guys in the beginning. I think we were really just try and error. And I think that's always the advice that I've given to other people is if you think about every single obstacle that can come your way before you start a business, you're never going to start the business. I think it's always about taking that first step, making the product, go to the flea market, seeing if anybody is actually paying for your products, and then pitching to the supermarkets and actually getting a spot in the supermarket, and then growing your presence in the supermarket and growing your shelf. And today, I think, especially if you go into aisles like the cereal aisle, the nuts aisle, even the spreads aisle, you'll see growing presence of Amazin Graze products in the relevant market. I think that's something we're really proud of. I think, there's a big enough market for a lot of different players. And if you have a really good product, like Sabrina said, I think you have a really good chance. So, yeah, I think the market is ready.
I'm just saying, like, the pie is big enough to share. It's not necessarily has to be dominated by just one person.
Sure,
So,
yeah. And would you say, earlier you said that seeing people buy, increasing number of people buying, so that means your market share is increasing. Do you think there's a correlation with that and the fact that the ingredients are locally sourced, the tastes are based on local profiles?
I think people have definitely noticed the difference between Amazin Graze products and the other products out there. I think for one, we're sitting from the perspective of our consumers and thinking about what they want because we are our consumers. We are the very same people that are shopping in these supermarkets online. And, if our mission is always, if we want to buy these products, then, there's a good chance that our consumers will also want to buy these products.
Great.
So it all started with, from the very get-go, this is what we want, right? But by seeing our consumer actually picking up, giving us the feedback, it only boosts our confidence. And from there, we took it on and we just start talking to customers, getting their feedback. Is this just to ensure that we are going through the right direction as well? And it has proven that we are sticking on the right. We are on the right track.